All right. Just wait for folks to come in. When folks start coming in, let me know in the chat. That'd be great. All right. Looks like we're seeing some people. Let me know if I'm coming in clearly with my audio. I haven't set this up in a while, and my microphone was a bit finicky. All right. Drink here. All right. Everyone can hear me okay? Your audio is good on my end. Excellent. You know what? Let's not waste any time then. Let's hit the intro. All right. Welcome back, everybody. It's been a while since I've done a bandwidth stream. I gotta say, I've kind of missed it for all manner of reasons. Just to provide a little bit of an update for those who are new to the channel or who might not be familiar with bandwidth, this is my opportunity to go back through what's been recently popping up in my Bandcamp recommendations, giving a bit of a cursory react-along listen with all of y'all. Maybe if we find something good, that's kind of nice. Otherwise, hey, we'll see what happens. We tend to start off here with a little bit of a Q&A, keep things light and airy. In terms of where I'm at right now, for those of you who don't know, I haven't done bandwidth in about coming up on a month, I think. There were reasons. Let me just say that. March was exceptionally busy for all manner of things. And then last week I was on vacation in an international place, which I'm not going to mention. And yeah, it was very nice, but I didn't have a good streaming setup that I could remotely trust the Wi-Fi to deliver on what I would otherwise do. And plus, it was a family vacation. So when you combine family vacation with me and my sister's family and my parents and my fiance, it was a lot. It was a lot going on. I will leave it there. As to how I'm doing right now, I'm doing all right. Today was a busy day at work. It was a headlong rush to get the Skrillex album out. I wanted to get that last listen in at the end of the day, but the problem is I had some pretty complex math I was doing as part of my actual full-time job. And here's a test. Try to do some level of complicated mathematics while listening to Skrillex at an appropriate volume. Good luck. All right. Hi, Matthew Cole. Thank you a lot for the super chat. Okay. No, I'm a bit late for this. Why didn't you review the new Red Hot Chili Peppers album? I have no interest in covering the Chili Peppers anymore. For one, I've got so many other things that would be on my docket anyway. And given everything that's come out about the Chili Peppers in recent years, yeah, I have no interest in reviewing them. And it's a little disconcerting that a lot of rock historians tend to gloss over that part. All right, Kelsey Parks, hell of a year for membership. Yeah, it has been. Again, thank you all for the support. I really do appreciate it. I didn't know I had a real job. Yeah, YouTube does not support me, at least not full-time. Like, I have a full-time career that I put in a 9-to-5 at, and then I come and do YouTube alongside all that. It's busy. I keep myself fairly busy. Skrillex and similar music usually helps me study. Good for you. It doesn't for me. I feel like there's some music that can get me in that zone, like a lot of ambient, maybe a bit of jazz, the right hip hop album, but not that last Skrillex album. All right. How many albums are on the review backlog with the number of releases the past couple of weeks? Well, that's the funny thing. For those who are curious, excuse me. Those who are curious about my existing review backlog, I highly recommend you join the highest level of YouTube membership or my Patreon. That will give you a little bit of an insight into where my current review backlog is and what might get to the top of my schedule, what I'm covering overall. I'll say this, there's a lot, because not only is there what is on that backlog, there's also my personal backlog that I maintain independently, which is stuff that nobody's requested, but I want to talk about, which, again, they happen. Um, so again, we will see where all of that goes. Again, I'm going to try to balance it out between the stuff where I'm going to try to balance it out between the stuff that where I can talk about more recent, current projects. Even then, that feels like the Skrillex album, a little behind on that. But I also have a pretty hefty list of stuff to otherwise get through. So we'll see. Oklahoma Sooners football. Your channel is why I'm mentally in a better place. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Thoughts on the weekend's first movie, Hurry Up Tomorrow, coming out May 16th. Uh, Probably is gonna might fill in some gaps from the album. I brought that up when I reviewed the album. I'm not gonna see the movie because I feel like if you need supplementary viewing material to grasp your album project, you may have not have made a great album. Uh, but at the same time, it could be interesting. I feel like there were gaps to be filled, and the weekend's always had that visual artist panache. I kind of think he might be better at like crafting and storyboarding a movie rather than acting in one or directing one, if you catch my drift. Uh oh, have you ever wondered what happened to that Russian band that made one of your favorite albums 2020? Bagdadsky Vor. Um I haven't heard anything from them. I did get vinyl from them somehow. I don't know what happened. So they got distribution for vinyl, and I want to say 2022, 2023. So I did get vinyl from them. I know they're around, but given what's happened in Russia, I don't have a slightest clue of where things are there. And yeah, the newest Backwash album was phenomenal. Review was fun to put together because because again, it's very much. I feel like her albums are very much in continuity with each other. So, and that definitely felt apparent on this most recent album. All right. We'll just wait until people file in. I'll take a couple more questions until we get Bandcamp going tonight. I'm fairly certain it's not going to run super long, but there are a couple longer songs, and that always has me a little concerned whether or not the stream will get killed. So we'll go along as it is. I'm hoping that we might be done by around 10, maybe. It might run a little longer. We might run a little shorter. We will have to see. All right. Yeah. Also, one other thing that's why things took a little bit longer. I'm gonna just quickly slide out of the way here. That behind me is my office chair. Don't ask what happened there, but basically something along the central cylinder connected to the base. Parts of the plastic reinforcement broke off, so I'm currently in this really chintzy office chair I managed to pick up on Amazon, and nowhere near as comfortable. So I guess we'll see where that goes. Alrighty. Thoughts on Ken Carson getting a push? Do you think he'll be better than Cardi? I have had no incentive to hear a lot of Cardi's like offspring in that regard. I've never, again, for a lot of them, it doesn't seem like content's the focus, and for at least for a lot of the hip hop that I like, I tend to gravitate more to I don't know the content of it all. And besides, all given what happened alongside of the Opium acts everything I've heard in around that scene, plus factor in how they've taken certain reviews on socials, I don't have any incentive to cover them, especially when my schedule is busy enough as it is. All right, what else is here? Review, yeah, I did shoot down the whole Ken Carson review, and again, I know there's folks who are more into that scene, and I've heard music in that scene, but again, given all the other rest of the nonsense around it, it's not worth my time. Have you heard the new Elton John Brandy Carlisle album? I haven't, and I don't really have a ton of interest in covering it. That felt like it kind of gave me the vibes of that Tony Bennett Lady Gaga project where it'll be good for its very niche target audience. I'm just not sure I'm in that audience. Uh, Yeah, second. Ken Carson is the only one on the label who isn't an awful person, it seems. Yeah, that's reassuring. Um, Cardi's offspring. He gave birth to them. Favorite song off of Fix Me by Marianas Trench. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I have to go back to that album. I haven't listened to Fix Me in a long time. Honestly, a lot of Marianas Trench fans tend to skip over Fix Me, and for good reason. Biggest disappointment and biggest surprise from artists you had high expectations from this past couple of weeks. Um, well, that might be spoiling certain reviews that are upcoming. You'll have to see. I do have a few disappointments, I will say, and one of them I already covered. I wanted to like that Corinne album a lot more than I did. It's not bad. I think the floor of that group is pretty solid, but they ran into the exact same problem that a lot of goth leaning acts from the early 80s or that were a little weird around the edges when synth pop went big mainstream and they tried to follow that wave. It never always turned out that well, and Corinne kind of hit that same issue. They also had some weird like Brit-pop elements. I don't think it's a good sound for them, so we'll see where it goes. I've heard some stuff behind the scenes around that album too, so again, a lot of things I can't reveal there, but hopefully the next project's good. Maybe Reach. Have you seen Fantano's recent video on the current state of music discourse? I actually have. I largely appreciated that video. A couple of reasons why, and I kind of want to actually talk a little bit about this because it did spark some conversation in my Discord, which, again, if you want to see access to, highest level of YouTube membership plus my Patreon as well. So, the one thing I appreciate that Fantano did in highlighting the issues that came with music discourse online is that he has the perspective to remember 15 years ago. Like that's at a period when some of his audience wasn't even online or wasn't even in grade school yet. And I think there's some value in highlighting that there were siloed communities on Chan boards and forums and stuff like that, but arguing that it was better discourse is kind of up in the air. A lot of the discourse felt more siloed. It was on fan sites, it was on MySpace, it was on the blog era. There was a certain amount of you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours to who gets coverage or not. There was a certain larger mastheads that had more influence, but that influence could be a double-edged sword in certain cases. And he was absolutely right that there was a certain subset of music that got prioritized over a lot of other stuff that, in my opinion, tended to be pretty egregious. Like, the biggest example I have there is country music. Like, unless you were on specific country forums, the country discussion in and around the genre was basically non-existent online, especially among the major mastheads. And I bring that up because, again, part of my claim to fame here is that I was one of the first country music critics on YouTube. And, like, if you go back to 2013, 2014, I was the one covering them and pretty much nobody else. And considering that was the bro country wave, and considering how many records those albums sold, that's kind of egregious. Now, I will say the other thing that Fantano probably doesn't push hard enough on is a relative lack of diversity in music spaces of the time. Part of that was the way those mastheads and journalist outlets were staffed. A lot of them were prioritizing the taste of, well, Gen X, early millennial white guys, especially if they were in coastal areas. That's who got the publicity. That's who got that attention. It's gotten a lot more diverse now. It's also gotten a lot more fragmented. And that has its ins and outs and drawbacks. I feel like he made some points that are relevant about stan culture and that a very little of the discourse on the social media spaces can have any degree of nuance or can have any degree of complexity, especially around certain pop and rap spaces. One thing I will say, though, is that how much nuance existed across the larger continuity of music writing is up in the air. I wouldn't lionize the old scene either. If you go back to old reviews on Rate Your Music back in like the mid 2000s, they're not great. Like, the writing has gotten better with time in certain siloed spaces. But again, I think a lot of this is the difference between where social media invites everyone into the crowd versus the larger hobbyist space where there has been some growth and evolution of music discourse. I always point to my Discord as being one of the better places for it, but again, I'm not going to toot my own horn there. That tends to be a little complex in terms of where people ultimately wind up. So there was a lot here. I want to read through some of the chat stuff here just so I'm on top of this. If Ronnie Radke was the person he is outside the music, we still dislike him. Yeah, I don't like Falling in Reverse. They're not even good. What's the deal with Nav's album flopping? He was supposed to beat out Lil Durk. From the Nav fans I know, apparently it's terrible. So yeah, if that might be the reason why, I'm kind of okay with that. I have no interest in discussing Nav. I don't find him particularly interesting. I have insight. Okay. All right. What else is here? Opinion on Kaiser Chiefs. I did have opinions on Kaiser Chiefs. It's been a while since I've revisited their catalog. That was years ago. I don't remember loving them. I remember just being largely lukewarm on a lot of their material. I had gone back and revisited them at the time, and I remember having opinions. I just can't quite remember what those opinions were. Yeah, catch Corinne live in a week. I've heard they're great live. And again, that's the frustrating thing. When you have an album you don't like, I'm still going to advocate for smaller acts that, yeah, they probably could use whatever groundswell they could get in order to make better albums or have more time to make better albums. That'd be wonderful. Did you hear the new albums from Jane Remover or Lucy Liu? Are you planning on reviewing them? Lucy Liu, no. I don't have enough familiarity with their back catalog. Jane Remover, here's the funny thing. In my Discord, folks were saying this was like the anti-Mark album. And I'm like, okay, challenge accepted. I listened to it while I was on the plane flying back from vacation, and I have thoughts. I have thoughts on that one. Different thoughts than some of you might expect. So I am open to reviewing the Jane Remover album if somebody is curious to put it on my schedule. I'll leave it at that. Interested in covering the new albums from Maddie and Tay and or Eric Church. Maddie and Tay, maybe. They tend to be really hit and miss for me. But whereas I will say Eric Church, absolutely. That's a priority for me, especially after that 3-part project he put out in 2021. All right. Okay. Thoughts on Brian Eno? Classic legendary producer, fundamental in making ambient music, responsible for so many phenomenal albums. Nothing needs to be said there. All right. What do you think of Ethel Cain's upcoming second album this year? Will it be more like Preacher's Daughter, experimental like Perverts, or something else entirely? I don't think it's ever going to be as poppy as Preacher's Daughter. I think Ethel Cain saw that side of fame and recognized, oh no, I don't want this quasi-ironic embrace of her music. That's why I kind of really loved what she did with Perverts. Like, I don't like it as much as Preacher's Daughter, but Perverts fits an ambient mold and is so conceptual in really fascinating ways. I think the next album is going to be more in that direction, although not all the way. It's still going to be like 90 minutes to 2 hours long. It's going to be long. It's going to be deliberate. I think it's going to get darker than Preacher's Daughter was. I'm not sure the full direction, though. All right, let's take a look here. Do you think there's anything in nerdcore spaces you would consider worth going back to in hindsight? YouTube changed nerdcore fundamentally, so I want to explore the roots. I was never deep into nerdcore. Again, I'm the wrong person to talk about that. It never clicked for me. Like, I kind of had a nerdcore-ish phase in like the late 2000s, and it was very abbreviated because at that time it was like I was in like first couple of years of university, and then I pivoted into a lot of mainstream pop, a lot of metal, actually a lot of like specific stripes of classic rock, specific stripes of vintage hip hop. Like my musical taste went away from that very fast. I bounced in briefly and then went wildly away from it. So I'm not the person to speak on it. Whatever Ethel Kane's new album sounds like, I always support Tumblr Girl. One thing I will appreciate is that her Tumblr is insane, and I like her YouTube videos. Like Ethel Kane's YouTube videos are a little wild, but there's this earnestness to how she'll sit and talk to the camera and just describe ideas that I find really, really charming in like an old school YouTube way. And so, yeah, shout out to Ethel Kane. All right, let's keep. All right. Um, Favorite Kate Bush album? Not sure I can answer that. I got to revisit a few of them. I revisited The Dreaming and Hounds of Love last year, and I do love both those albums, but I'm not sure what would be my favorite. I also think there's others in her catalog that get slept on. What do you think about quality music this year? That is a great question because I've been there's a part of me that feels underwhelmed by the music this year. In that, let me actually change that. Let me qualify that. Popular music this year has been in the dumps. I think the charts have been pretty rough this year, all things considered. The majority of great songs on the charts are holdovers from 2024, and not a bad thing because those songs from 2024 are pretty great. But 2025 in the popular charts has been rough. I have not been happy with it at all. That said, when you go outside of popular music and you get to stuff that's more in the independent scene or stuff that's a little weirder or stranger, I'm hearing a lot I like. And I don't know what to tell you. Like, the new Sewer album is great. The Jesse Wells album was a phenomenal surprise. Jason Isbell, Clipping, Backwash. The Weather Station album keeps getting slept on. I have no idea why. Unrequited was great. There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of projects that really stuck up for me. Oh, 256 Pi. Independent electronic music was pretty much everything I wanted that last Jamie XX album to be. There are great and that's not even counting the stack of records that dropped at the end of March that I haven't had a chance to review yet, and I already can tell you that at least 2 of them are great. Just a matter of me getting to them again. So it's frustrating because I wish a lot of that would get a little bit more mainstream traction, but no, instead we have to sit through friggin' Playboy Cardi's 30 songs. Yeah, that Big X the Plug Bailey Zimmerman collab is fascinating. I'm kind of excited to talk about it because I have thoughts. I mean, Bailey Zimmerman was looking for a Hail Mary to save his career, especially with given Morgan Wallen's going to do Morgan Wallen all over the place in the charts. Gotta hope it's going to be good. All right. Do you have any expectations for the Julian Baker and Torres album? I wish I did. I really like Torres. I think that album last year was an early disappointment and kind of a misfire. I hope this is the correction. I don't know if it will be. I'm not the biggest Julian Baker fan either. I know a lot of folks were really lukewarm on the Lucy Dacus album. In my opinion, they're wrong, but we'll get to that later. Julian Baker, though, has never really clicked for me, so we will have to see where that project lands out. Some of the buzz around it's been a little weird too. I heard the By Storm Injury Reserve singles. I have not. I kind of feel like I don't want to hear them because, again, Injury Reserve had that final, there was that last project that dropped with Injury Reserve in 2021. Do we really want to keep pulling that, especially with the Richie album from last year that seemed to go on to a different path? It seemed like they were embarking on trying different things. I don't know. That to me gives me odd vibes. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. All right, we're coming up. I got 5 more minutes. And once again, any super chats will get priority for me to talk about them as they come up. One thing I'll also say, again, is that if certain songs are going to go long, I think there's a part of me that is tempted to cut them off. But again, I do want to take in something as fully as I can. What do you think of Creed's resurgence? I wish there were better rock bands that were getting a resurgence. There's surely a lot of them from the 90s. Why can't we have a Pearl Jam comeback? I swear. You want to bring back Creed? Like you want to like I get Limp Bizkit turning into a meme. They were always kind of a joke, but like Creed, really? Like I don't know. We don't need to give Scott Stapp any more attention. All right. Any other questions? We're gonna kick things off here. I'm really tempted to kick things off. Check out Todd's newest One Hit Wonderland. I did on the Veronicas. That was fun. One thing I will say about that, I really like that episode because it was very fun to hear talk about the Veronicas, which I really like. One thing I will say about that retrospective is that he goes to that song that he highlights from the Veronicas from 2015, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, that's a Mariana's Trench song. Like that Rollick, that flair. I'm like, that's Mariana's Trench down to the bone. I'm a little surprised. Like I know Todd wouldn't draw that connection, but I did. The other connection that I'm a little surprised Todd didn't make was metric, because the Veronicas, especially in 2009, in that electro pop slash indie like pivot that was happening, like metric were kind of at the forefront of it. I know that I'm Canadian, so I got more expectations of multiple Canadian acts there, but they both had crossover, at least to some extent. Anyone you haven't reviewed this year that you think would make a list if you did? Oh, I'm not spoiling that second. You know that. You said about the new Marina. Oh, I want that to be good, but the leadoff single has me worried. Well, speaking of pop leadoff singles that has had me worried, I'm not sure what's happening with Kesha because I really want that project to be good too, and I don't know. I don't know. All right, my opinion on rap this year has been stronger. Uh, yeah, rap this year has been good. The like I've gone back to that Guy Squavera album more than I thought I would. Clipping, Backwash, not really. I am looking forward to eventually covering that Prem Rock album as soon as he gets me the lyrics. Like and like that Rap Ferrera album from the end of last year finally got lyrics posted on Bandcamp, not on Bandcamp, on Genius, and that was fun. Like I like him sounding a little hungrier, a little bit more direct. It's a good look for him. I'm not sure I would cover it this year, given that the album already came out, but it was fun. Um, all right, you got the feeling you didn't. Okay, Billy Woods album is also coming up. Yeah, Billy Woods coming up. Aesop Rock's coming up. Like it's gonna, we could eat this year with hip hop. I'm excited for that. At least in the underground. Is the Chapel, Little Sims? I don't know what's going to happen with the Little Sims album because given that she's suing her producer Inflow from apparently taking a lot of money from her, and then that places the whole dichotomy of her not being able to tour stateside. That has me very worried. I got to be honest, it has me extremely worried about where that's going to go. Um, okay, and Chapel Roan album, I'd like to see it. I think it's dropping this year. My guess is it'll drop in the summer or near the end of the summer. Um, late 2020. Oh, also, Pup's dropping this year. That's going to be fun. Um, late 2024. Did you hear Heavy Metal by Cameron Winter? I didn't. I keep hearing a lot of indie people or mainstream indie people really prop it up. Again, I just didn't have time to get around at the end of the year when I rapidly realized that with certain additional family commitments, it gets harder to get through one's backlog at the end of the year, especially when you're traveling in and around the holidays. I that was different this year. I don't imagine it will be the same this upcoming year. We will have to see. All right. Okay, a few more questions here. We'll keep moving. All righty. Final thing. What are your thoughts on Doechii consistently charting with her least interesting material? Do you think it'll encourage a worse direction for her overall? No. And the reason why is because Punch and Top aren't stupid. They know that this sort of extended longevity for weaker material is setting the bar low. It's the sort of thing like, okay, she's got some pop crossover. She's got some stuff that's getting a little bit of attention. It's got some virality. Dochi's always had TikTok presence, so this is not uncommon. I think, if anything, it sets up for where when the album finally comes, and I think it comes this year, it's going to blow people's socks off if it's where it should be. I think it will be. We'll have to see. I heard Morgan Wallen is collabing with a female for the first time. Yeah, can he stop making it weird when he's talking about it? It's a little, it's distracting. All right, let's get to the actual. Let's get to bandwidth. Alrighty, here. Let's go. Let's get this started. It's been so long since I've done this. I miss this. All right, let's go to Bandcamp Daily. Let's go to our album of the day. Valerie June. That's a good one to start with. I'm excited with this. All right, Valerie June. Have I covered Valerie June before? I feel like I have. What's on our list here? No, I haven't. I've seen her albums and I've been tempted to cover them, but I never have. It's always been the sort of thing I'm like, I'd get to it eventually, but I just never quite did. All right, here we go. Actually, I got a little distracted here. Hang on. Bandcamp, Bandwidth Daily, Album of the Day, Valerie June, Owls, Omens, and Oracles by Valerie June. I'm not sure what song we have up. Let me pull up my side view here just to check. The song we have here is called Joy Joy. Let's give it a listen. Nice bass. Let's get the lights behind me a little.
There's a light you can see that is wanting to be free. Heat and light deep inside. Learn to trust your spirit, God. There is a light you can find if you start to take time to when it's right. Rise and shine, the seas will part, the stars align. You'll find that joy, joy in your soul. Yeah, you find that joy, joy in your soul. You find that joy, joy in your soul. You found that joy,
A little better. A lot less overexposed to the face. That Tennessee side of her voice definitely coming through. That sax has some... I wish that sax had a little bit more muscle. The cymbals really smother this. Ooh, love that guitar tone, though. That's nice. It's almost garage. Wish the snare was mic'd well. Woo! That's dramatic. All right, that's Joy Joy by Valerie June from the album Owls, Omens, and Oracles. That was fun. I'm not going to say I was wowed by it, and I can tell you immediately why. Again, I hear a little bit of that 90s vibe in some of the scuzzier elements, and definitely some of the balance of the more pronounced twang against that rougher rock, R&B, quasi-soul element. There's definitely a little bit of New Orleans flair to it. My issue with this is the production. It definitely has the vocals felt a little more lo-fi than they need to be. I will also highlight that I'm not sure what it was, but the horns were just not able to cut through when the cymbals just saturated the mix. I feel like the drum kit was really messily mic'd. Um, yeah, so given that again, there was flair to it. I wasn't sure that the lyrics wowed me here either, but it was all right. I kind of I wanted to like it more. I think that's where I'm ultimately lying. I did want to like that a decent bit more than I do. All right, so let's get on to this next one. And this is one that has received a lot of attention. This is Barker. The project's called Stochastic Drift. I have seen a lot of critical acclaim around this in electronic spaces. So he's a German producer. Apparently, this might, if it leans more on the techno side, it's not going to win me over, but I don't know. You know what? It could. All right, let's give this a shot. The song is called Reframing from Stochastic Drift by Barker. Let's give it a shot. Good synth pulse there. It's nice. Drum's a little thin. The rhythm here is interesting because it's not conventional, and like the synths are being described as like from trance, and I hear it, and I like trance, so huh. It's not really growing. It's kind of like slowly mutating and sliding around. This is definitely intended for a bigger audience. Like you don't go for a synth palette that sounds this big if you're not trying to play for like a broader stage. I'm a little surprised how underpowered the percussion is though. Like for techno, the 4 on the floor is not hit in yet. All right. Feels like the drums keep falling all over each other. When something happens, I hope it's awesome. Yeah, kind of same. I have thoughts on this. Okay. That was Reframing by Barker from the album Stochastic Drift. Okay. Again, I know it's already a bit of a meme. It's Mark versus techno, and listen, techno's not my thing, and German techno has a very distinctive timbre and flair to it. I know that. I think what my thing with this song is that I like the synths that it's using. I like how the implications towards grandeur. I like that the cadence of it felt ever so slightly consistently off. Like it's trying to do something different with how the syncopation comes in between the drums and the synth melody. And I almost kind of like the decay that it looks like it was going towards a drop. But the problem was is that when the drop happened, it kind of kept up a lot of that same awkward, kind of fidgety syncopation, and I don't think it paid it off very well. I understand why this is going to work for people. I just don't think it works for me. But again, like my issues with techno aside, I feel like it's a song that it has the feel when you realize that this guy's a very studied from classical music theory. I hear that, absolutely hear it here. But sometimes it feels like he got a little in his own way with this, and doesn't really work for me. It probably fits better in the album. I would agree. This feels like this guy. When it comes to a lot of electronic music in this vein, album artists, I get it. All right, next up. From Penelope Traps, the album's called A Requiem. What are we looking at here? Alternative music. I'm hearing Catholic Mass immediately being referencing. Electropop, cloistering, a little bit of Sun O. Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. Let's see. Did I already note this? I just want to check to make sure I've got all right, here we go. The song is called Sleep. Please do not fall asleep here. We still have plenty of time left. But from A Requiem by Penelope Traps, the song is called Sleep. Let's give it a shot. I changed my lighting here. I feel like this needs to be darker, more eerie. Okay, I get what this is. Gloomy and creepy. I like it. I'm getting some like early Chelsea Wolfe, a little bit of like Anna Van Hossen Wolf as well. Like they're describing this some Sun O elements. I hear that. Definitely feel like I know exactly the sort of person I need to recommend this to. Neoclassical. Or Darkwave. Well, it sneeze was me blowing my nose. This is creepy, but in a nice way. So that was Sleep by Penelope Traps from the album A Requiem. Okay, so here's the thing. There's a lot of this I like. I like the tone of it. I like how creepy and ominous it is. I love those bombs, like those darker drone-like elements that get introduced. It's definitely very goth. It's definitely trying to go for that sort of atmosphere. That's fine by me. That's normally my shit. I think where I struggle with the song is that it feels kind of it's meandering is one word. I think unstructured is the more important one because it feels like it's got ups. It feels like it's got moments, but there's no crescendo. I feel like the transitions are rather jerky. It feels like the sort of thing where if you want to get pulled in and suffocated in that atmosphere, there's ways of doing it where you develop a groove. Now, I've also heard this, reading the description there, I'm not sure this song is fully representative of the album. Like, apparently there's also more pop-friendly stuff, so her choice to recommend the truly gothic weird one is saying something. I just don't know. Like, I feel like that's the sort of stuff, like, I've also heard a lot of other acts in this lane. I wouldn't say this is going above and beyond what those acts do, so... It's good. It's good. It's definitely something that would work for me, but I'm not sure. But again, if you've heard this, if you've heard stuff like this, you probably wouldn't be wowed by this. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, apparently the album's not super long. That to me tells me that, again, apparently there are more pop-leaning cuts on the album. I'd be curious. This album has me curious now in terms of what's being structured. Sitting in a vibe rather than going on a journey. Yeah. Well, and apparently that's intentional, like in terms of what it's trying to say in terms of some of the themes. Excuse me. All right, let's keep moving here. Compilation. We skip that. And we go on to, I believe this is compilation. I just want to check. Oh, yeah, this is a 4LP box set. So we're not doing 4LP box set compilations. Instead, we have drone metal. Okay. And this is a long one, too. Fray warning, if the stream dies midway through it, the song's 8.5 minutes long. This is from Apparitions. This is an avant-garde drone trio. The album is called Volcanic Reality, and the song here is called Convulsing Earth. Okay. We're going for a very specific, again, indebted to Suno here, so... Let's get this going. Certainly a lot of guitar feedback. Oh shit, they got Seth Manchester engineering. That's nice. This almost seems like it's adopting like certain noise rock textures because this is different than the drone that we just dealt with. But this is a rougher edge to it, a lot more distortion, a lot more roughness to it. Yeah, we pray to the YouTube gods for mercy here. This is not gonna. We might get lucky. We will have to see. Well, actually, we got a shot at getting this through because one thing I will say is that drone acts don't tend to copyright claim / takedown. It do be droning. It's not a bad drone, I will say that. Like, you can hear how the melody elongates really effectively here. I'm waiting for when the drums do come in. Oh, there we go. Oh. Okay. Drums sound great. Seems like the drums are feeling out the mix. Ooh. I like this guitar tone a lot. I really do. Like, for what this is, it's working for me. I wouldn't call it transcendent, but like the wallow in the earth is easily approachable with this tone and sound. Come on, focus on me. Focus on me. There we go. It royals well. I like the tone and texture here. It's nice. Apparently I made a mistake earlier. This is not their debut, this is their sophomore album. Ooh. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Get a groove going. That cymbal is fighting for air. Yeah, I am enjoying this tone here. I'll say it. For as long as this song is, it doesn't feel as long. It feels like it's dynamic enough to keep my interest. Yeah, Dario, I get that, but here's the funny thing. Actually, I'll get to why in a bit. Huh. Yeah, the final section does is needed. Oh shoot. Okay. So that was Convulsing Earth by Apparitions from the album Volcanic Reality, their sophomore album, and hot take, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Now, a lot of things I will say, drone metal's not normally my thing. That's the sort of thing you kind of have to be awash. You have to wallow in that scene. But I loved the pickup of that specific guitar tone. I really like They cite Seth Manchester as the engineer on this, and you could hear his influence. Just there's a crispness to a lot of these mixes I really appreciate. But also, I have to highlight the composition. It feels extremely deliberate. Like, it definitely feels like there's multiple passages here. I like that the drone just ebbed and flowed really nicely. I liked the deeper percussion building in that midsection that was a little bit like kind of feeling out the mix against the guitar, and then it built into a more stable groove at the very end. Again, for a song that's 8.5 minutes long, it didn't feel 8.5 minutes to me. And it felt like climactic and driving and filthy in a way it kind of had to. So, yeah, again, it never dragged for me. And I think that speaks very highly of Drone that they can pull that off. That was nice. That was really good. Alrighty. So that handles the albums of the day. Let's get into our other stuff down here. Let's keep it going. Once again, anyone else who wants to actually, once again, support the channel, or if you guys want to actually help join into my Discord, get albums onto my schedule, again, I will highlight my Patreon and YouTube memberships. Again, you're no obligation. The market's given the way they are. I completely understand if you wouldn't, but the option is available. All right, let's get this going. Okay, so we got some avant-garde rock and spontaneous fourth world inspired jazz. Oh boy. This is from Pigdons, or Pigeons? I never know how to pronounce that properly. The album's called Refrains of the Day, Volume 1, and the song is called Data Driven. Let's give it a shot. We get some jazz up in here, or jazz adjacent. Very fidgety. That is a vocal choice. And it's very fidgety. Yeah, the drums here are really nice as well. There's a little like skitter and rolling to it. And it's certainly a choice for the vocoder tone, though. I will say that. The percussion is so dense and fidgety. It's actually really... It's a cool set of textures on display here. Huh. I actually have the lyrics in front of me, and that's got an interesting little bit of context that I don't want to spoil yet. Yeah, that is really, really fidgety. Because now the guitar is here, it's just kind of creaking around. For me, it feels like more of a textural experiment than anything. Huh. Okay, that was Data Driven by Pigdens, and from the album Refrains of the Day, Volume 1. That was odd. And I think the oddness was the point, because there's a lot to this I like. I love the percussion. Percussion sounds great. I love how the drums just kind of roil and churn around. I think there was a lot of texture. I think that's definitely where the jazz element came through. I loved how the timpani came through. I like how the more eclectic instrumentation, kind of when the guitar came in, it kind of flattened out part of the mix. Excuse me. One thing I will say, though, is the vocoder. I didn't love the texture of the vocoder chosen, but when you get what the is actually saying, which I actually happen to have up alongside me here, which is pretty cool, it says data-driven, driven data, market-driven, driven market, fact-driven, driven fact, logic-driven, driven logic. These are mantras. It sounds like a computer reciting its mantras to you, but I like how the vocoder was ever so slightly decayed. So it was giving you the impression that like it wants to abide by this, but it's breaking down around the edges. And that's kind of cool. Like it kind of fits for a song where it's a little bit more, where the alien elements are more organic around it, and the technology is trying to hold together, but it's peeling apart at the edges. That's kind of neat. Again, I'm not sure I'd go back to it much, but it was pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't mind that at all. All right, next song. All right, this is an Aussie group called Grinding Eyes. The album is called Out of Focus, as you can clearly tell by the album art here, and the song is called A Reflection. I don't know. Let's give that a listen. Well, that's post-booking, right? Can you say reverb or like delay? I already know what I'm going to say about this. What is with the delay on these songs? On this? Yeah, I hear a lot of delay here. I already know what I'm comparing this to. Wasn't even hard. That is a lot of feedback. Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to get... It's not trying to get dark, though. And I'll highlight why in a second. I think the thing with this is that it's exposing a trend I've been hearing, so I'll get into it in a second. A lot of us have a soft spot for it, too. I get it. I think the song is over. Feels like it is. All right, that was The Reflection by Grinding Eyes from the album Out of Focus. So here's a trend that I'm observing within modern post-punk or gothic tinged music on just the outskirts of like more in the independent scene right now. Oh my God, they are tilting towards Britpop. Because there's a Britpop side to this, like how big the guitars want to sound, how much that it's going to swell up in and around the mix, and especially that delay that they left on. A little bit of shoegaze as well. You can definitely hear some of that coming in. But it's very specifically tying back to a certain era of the 90s that shows me that a lot of the post-punk is now moving into a very distinct territory, and it's seeming to be moving en masse. So I'm not against it per se, but I've yet to hear a lot of it done very well. And that song didn't wow me. I feel like the delay was abused with the guitars. I wish the guitars had more meat to them. I wish there was any sense of dynamics, because the other issue when going in this direction with that sound is that it sounds really bricked out. Yeah, the cymbal sounded good, but where was the low end? And you couldn't make heads or tails out of the vocals, which I think is a mistake. It really made the hooks not as poppy as it wanted. Because again, I heard this described in the chat. You have the difference between someone, you have this band that could go pure darker edge nightmare fuel, or you could go pure Britpop and really soar, and it's kind of splitting the difference, and I'm not sure it's better for it. Not bad, but I kind of wanted to like it more. Hey, Corinne did this too. That's why I'm seeing a trend here. All right, next up. All right, this is a New Zealand artist called Tom Lark. The album's called Midnight, though the EP is called Midnight Hotel. And then we have, looks like we got here, the song is called Fuselage. Oh, that's interesting. Let's hear what Fuselage is about. Apparently, this is the night of wonky guitar effects. Although this is kind of charming. Oh, I know a Kurt Weill influence when I hear it. No, that's wrong. It's a Kurt Weill. This is more bounce to it. It's really well mastered. I think it helps that the song has a really nice hook. This is, again, it is, ooh, got a little chime there. Cozy is a good way to describe it. But it is really charming. This is nice. There's this very subtle, like, quiet, sad grandeur to certain elements that I do like here. That was really good. Okay, then. That was Fuselage by Tom Lark from the album Moonlight Hotel. Yeah, that was really good. Um, I'm trying to find it, like, again, because I immediately came to the Kurt Weill description, and at least in that comparison, are having a little bit more bounce. And I think that's kind of true of going in more of this psych pop folk direction. There's a little bit more rollick, there's a little bit more swagger. I think it helps that the song is impeccably well mastered. I actually really like how well that it's got a really nice flow and cadence to it. Also maddeningly catchy. That there's a really strong set of melodic hooks there. And even if the guitars are kind of wonky, it kind of works for this brand of psych. Um, One thing I think is actually kind of interesting is that this is actually part of a concept project. It's looking to draw parallels between his family getting displaced in New Zealand in like the late 20s, early 30s, and when he himself was displaced in like 2011 by an earthquake. And it's very much interesting to see there is a cyclical element to how the song plays out. It's almost like you're trying to like stumble through and surveil the wreckage. And yeah, that was really solid. I liked that a lot. That was very very interesting. Again, lyrics aren't anywhere, which kind of gives me wishing that I would like to actually hear more. And but hey, that was a cool little endeavor here. Next up, okay, this is a comp. No, it's not. All right, this is from L Train and Goodie Bags. We got looks like it's brass and R&B. I like that. The project's called Drifting. The song is called Sun Goes Down. All right, let's hear what happens. I need to get some R&B lights up. Hang on.
I spent my day
Oh, that's some R&B for you.
wondering what you eat for breakfast. I know it sounds crazy, but I wish my name was on the necklace.
That's sultry.
I don't know you, but you got it. I want it, oh baby.
Ooh.
Lift me up, you take me higher than that. I'm burning fire, oh baby. From this moment I've acquired, feel so good I can't tell from love. But I remember, I don't know who you are.
Second, I'd push back on it a little bit, if only because I just don't have a ton of time. You know how busy my schedule is. This is very charming. Oh, there's the horns. I knew they were coming. That is such a good bass line. I love it. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, that's nice. The vocals are really nice here. Yeah, Mickey Rose is knocking this out of the park. Little short though. Okay, that was Sun Goes Down from L Train and Goodie Bags. That song's featuring Mickey Rose, and the EP is called Drifting. Excellently mastered. I really like that too. Definitely in a very specific brand, a very tasteful R&B. But that bass line was fat. I really loved how well balanced the percussion was. The guitars had some nice liquid texture to them. The horns probably could have afforded to do a little more to it, and the song did feel abbreviated. I feel like that was a song that just kind of like it got through its ideas and then just kind of stopped abruptly. They could have done more with that. But again, like the vibe was immaculate for what it was. I cannot complain. Yeah, that was really, really solid. Good stuff. All right, next up. Okay, this is from Hiromi. The project's called Out There. We got jazz here, folks. It is jazz time. And it's like 6 minutes of jazz, too. So fingers crossed that we survived this. Here we go. The song is going to call Balloon Pop from Hiromi. The album is called Out There. Let's go. Ooh. Oh, we're definitely in smooth jazz territory. Although, that lead melody is going to stay stuck in my head forever. Impeccably mastered, though. Get the city pop people in here. I think we found something they would like. Can you tell this is Japanese of a certain stripe? Oh, this is so charming. Oh, piano solo. Love it. Ooh. I see what you're doing. I see you. Bass could afford a bit more definition. Everyone's saying Mario Kart vibes. I get it. Oh my god, the piano work! Jesus! Oh my god, this is very, very... It's tasteful, but it's so much fun. See, the bass is doing really interesting things. I wish it was a bit more defined. One girl second. Although she does have an entire backing band. This is her backing band's called Sonic Wonder. Ooh! Yes! I like it. I like it. Oh. I am so happy. We're in the jazz tradition of bass solos. Oh, this is so much fun. I like this a lot. It is very cute. I will say that if there's something that holds me back from this, that it's a little too precious, or at least for me. Can you tell? Yeah. Not sure I like this passage either. It feels a little, like, fidgety. Drum solo's cute, but, like, you don't need to do it at this point. You had a great groove going. Oh. Okay, if you're just gonna do fills, okay, you're just showing off at this point. God, that melody's insane. Jeez. No, this is a walk around Kyoto music. Like Kyoto or Tokyo. Oh, they're doing solos with that now. Oh, I love it. Ooh, God, that piano. Jesus! Okay, at some point you're just showing off. That was Balloon Pop by Hiromi with from the album Out There. Oh, wow. Okay, so that was backed by her backing band Sonic Wonder. And there's a part of me that listens to that and I'm like, oh wow, they got this so Sonic Wonder could just show off. And that was careening and wildly entertaining. That lead, like little synth melody, is going to dominate and stick in my head for weeks, probably. That was, and I like the abrupt ending. I don't love that song though. I think I am going to nitpick this a little bit. I think that midsection where they dropped into the drums, it was a little bit more stuttery. It didn't keep up the momentum, and at a certain point, you could tell they were showing off. Like, I feel like that was very much like, yeah, you're just going to do insane things on horns, piano, especially the bass. Oh my God. And it was fun, but I'm also like, okay, I get what you're doing. And it could feel a bit indulgent, but not to a point where I find it very disagreeable. In any case, that was a ton of fun. Really did enjoy it. Actually, really appreciate how well it ended at the very end. Definitely smooth jazz. Definitely that's a specific lane. And yeah, I would recommend if you're into city pop, show that to somebody. If you're someone who samples city pop, show that to somebody, because I can imagine that just becoming an insanely catchy little hook you sneak in somewhere. Take notes. All right, let's keep moving. Next up, compilation. We're skipping it. Oh, nice. Boldy James. Sweet. We got hip hop. We don't get enough hip hop in bandwidth. I will say that right now. So this is from Boldy James and V Don. The album's called Alphabet Highway. This song's called Split the Bill. Let's give it a shot.
It's Action Jackson, pussy nigga, you ain't bout none. 27, we the mafia. Where we at? I ain't spin back, I do shit when this man's got chip. Dirt dog, but quick to pull a stain on a bumper clock. 100-shot chopper, fully bang for the juggernaut. Come and shop with us, we got whatever niggas looking for. 180 racks I made from scratch, just like some cookie dough. I ain't really into all the gossip, niggas chatty patties. While I'm in the speed gift, wrapping up them Krabby Patties. Patent leather off-whites with the infrared arrow. Off-white bricks, all my licks look like Will Ferrell. Soul
Huh.
snatch him, dirty Poe with the legs. It's Bo Jackson, I ain't talking 34 for the Raiders. Posting on the burial, serving blow in the scrape. I scrape the bowl and beat the pot, turn a foe to an aider. Welcome to the murder show from Third Coast to Grenada. The front row full of bitches, the third row full of haters. Double mags on them switches, when we purge it get fatter. I put the mash on them niggas like we serving potatoes.
Yes, I've heard Boldy James before. I've reviewed him before.
Just for looking at me, mean mugging, ain't nobody smiling, but they trigger happy. Gotta keep at least 12 rounds in your strigger deal.
I haven't talked about Boldy James in like years though, so I'll provide some context when we get back over.
Load up my drumstick and show you how I really feel. Hands on with it, front line and really in the field. Bro got a dime, I got a dime, now we can split the bill. Honey badger, ladder on me poking while I'm stuck in traffic. Standing on my stairs, so I divert, but I could dunk a bag. Allergic to metal, I keep bumping up with rashes. Blue still on me, stuck to me, look like a fucking maggot. Reminiscing, made a play for 5 kilos. Cuddy chipping niggas left them flaming hot Cheetos. Habanero pepper boy, that's Fuego. Stand stepping, turn a 504 into a Lego. Sliding trackies and them straights, no Laredos. Fair catch it, get him going quick, hasta luego. He tried to tax me on the low, I had to rob him. That ice pack got me dozing while I'm not. Waking up the dead, it ain't no playing possible. Big
Yeah, this is solid.
between a ghoul and a god. It's 227, 50 guap, we steady mobbing. If we ain't gang, I can't shoot you no fade, it ain't no squad. I'm from Hell Block, where niggas get shot just for looking at me, mean mugging. Ain't nobody smiling, but they trigger happy. Gotta keep at least 12 rounds in your strigger deal. But if the ops don't down you, your own niggas will. All of that front shit is punk shit, don't make me spin a drill. Load up my drumstick and show you how I really feel. Hands on with it, front line and really in the field. Bro got a dime, I got a dime, now we can split the bill. Yeah. Two-way, do say, siete. Big Hefe, Brody, blacks.
I like the pianos at the end here. This is nice. Yeah, I didn't talk a ton through this because I have a lot to say about Boldy James and why I haven't covered him more. This song kind of confirms a lot of what I will say. That was Split the Bill by Boldy James and V Don from the album Alphabet Highway. So, Boldy James. My frustration with Boldy James is again, he's got good bars. Very solid bars, especially about the drug running, especially going into a certain level of detail. I like the smoother production, especially with that feminine backing vocal against a very well-mastered, well-balanced groove. It was solid. My problem with Boldy James is that he's got a plateau for me. It's kind of a similar issue I run into with Rock Marciano sometimes, in that you have a very plain-spoken, very direct form of delivery, and you're generally impressed by the wordplay. But if you're looking for a little bit more depth, if you're looking for something that's a little more challenging, if you're looking for something that's outside of that comfort zone, or that has a little more dimensionality, that's where I kind of struggle with Boldy James. Where I struggle with Rock Marciano, if I'm going to be honest. Like, it's not that it is bad. I very clearly understand I like a lot of what I'm hearing. The other issue with Boldy James is that he floods the market. There's just so many projects out of him. Yeah. And I kind of feel like I'm looking for that moment where Boldy James does something within the formula that transcends it or takes it up to a different level. When it comes to this sort of drug running content, Pusha T said it right. There is a ceiling to it unless you do it a little bit differently or you add a little bit of a different edge. That's kind of what I've really appreciated about Push over the years, is that he has evolved that. Freddie Gibbs is as well. Freddie Gibbs specifically bringing a lot more melody and tunefulness, or a little bit more insight into his character alongside it. Boldy James, I haven't heard that from him yet. And when you put out so many projects with this specific lane, I kind of expect to hear a little more of it at some point. It's good. It is recommended, but I don't know. I'm looking for that next gear. Crash Tom said, is the problem? No, because in my opinion, the problem basically has when you have the problem per se, it's the element where it's it's where you start getting sharply diminishing returns on that formula, and the formula just gets stale. I don't think the formula is stale with Bo Lee James. I just don't think he's moved beyond or above it. All right, and the bars are clever, not denying that at all. All right, next up. Okay, this is from Imefe. We got some funk music in here. Okay, I haven't had funk in a while. Funk and freewheeling Afrobeat from a group. The album's called Forward, and that's the name of the song, too. The song is also called Forward. I don't know, let's give it a shot. This could be very interesting. Oh, that's funk, all right. Ooh. Those are some horns. Oh, that's some funk. Obvious Stevie influence, but not bad for it. Yeah, we got a lot of good strolling music tonight. Oh. It definitely feels a little dated, but I'm not going to complain. This is a lot of fun. And that's kind of the thing there, Sammy. I think there's like, this is fun, and there's some muscle here. Like if you pay attention to the back, there's some muscle, but at the same time, like, what is this doing that's different? Yeah, the vibes have been great tonight. Picked the right episode to come back, goddamn. Ooh. Oh, change up. All right. The sax solo? Ooh, good change up. I like this. I like this a lot. There we go. Oh, sax is being deliberate. You gotta tease it out here. You gotta tease it out. Ooh, that is funky. It was a mistake when we let music like this not dominate the charts anymore. I'll say it. Especially this well played and well mastered too. Especially as there is more going on here that feels contemporary. We'll get to that in a second. I get it, second. No, they're not always this good. Like, the vibes here have just been great. Ooh. There's a density to the drums here that I really like. There comes the rest of the larger horns. There we go. Just loop it back, loop it back. Woo-hoo! So it is going to meander off, but it's deliberate in that. I hear that the pianos get a little stormy as it just like ebbs away. When is this coming out? This is a lot of fun. Oh no, it came out April 4th. Oh, you're going to let the piano go out. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. All right. That is Forward by Emefe from the album Forward. Holy God, that was fun. That is the sort of funk music that I will inevitably like. Oh, there's something at the end there. Okay, whatever. That sort of funk music I really, really like, especially as it feels like, while it is very obviously indebted to Stevie Wonder in terms of a lot of what he laid down in the 70s, I often feel like that sound does not get enough modern appreciation, partially because it's really hard to do that in terms of the larger bands in order to actually pay everybody in the band. And because a lot of those acts do not get super big. And you can tell that this is one where they had a rich swath of session musicians where the groove was huge. The drums sounded great. The horns were amazing. Oh my God. That's how they brought the saxophone in and then managed to have the horns bracketing it on each side. Phenomenal. The piano was great. Even though there were no vocals, and I will say there was parts of the sax solo felt a little stiff to me, I will say what makes this feel more contemporary is the percussion. Yeah, there was that era in a certain part of the 80s where the more Africanized percussion was a thing, but with modern Afrobeat, I could see this working in the modern day, or at least having a little bit of groundswell. This would fall in some people's nostalgia window and do insanely well. Overall, really, really enjoyed that. Very happy with that. Again, vibes are great tonight. I am incredibly impressed. Okay. So this is where we're in a bit of an awkward situation because I know I track what songs come up ahead of time on my Bandcamp app. Sometimes the website's a little different. So this is going to go into a song. It looks like it's a one-off single from Evan Greer. And this is from also featuring Ryan Casada, and it's called "Protect Trans Kids." So this might get heavy. We'll see how it goes. Let's give it a shot.
Transgender people under the age of 18 face laws that ban gender-affirming care in 25 states, half the country. Just a few years ago, not a single state had such a law. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. What the fuck is wrong with you? Leave them alone. Leave them alone. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? Come on, what the fuck? Let them play sports. Let them have fun. Let them go to school. Let them read books. Let them have friends. Let them take a fucking test. Without you all up in their fucking business. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. What the fuck is wrong with you? Leave them alone. Leave them alone. What the fuck is
right, a little bit of punk there. Protect Trans Kids, What the Fuck is Wrong with You? By featuring, I believe that's Ryan Casada by Evan Greer. You can't fault the message. You can't deny the importance of the message, especially right now in the States, where again there's a lot of stuff where I am probably the wrong person to speak on it with any level of detail, but I can speak on it with intensity because come on, like leave trans kids alone, let them live their lives. Their lives are hard enough as it is. Being a teenager is hard enough as it is. Like why make their lives incrementally worse for a lot of bullshit anti-science reasons? That being said, the song's not very good. I can acknowledge that. Like it is the sort of blunt point. It's a blunt point of catharsis, but the mixing is kind of shoddy. I don't think the vocals are that strong. It is just the hook is mostly sticky, but again, it feels more driven to get the message rather than stand up on its own as a song. That's okay, and that is relevant, especially if you're doing it for charity, which I kind of think this is. But and again, it's a good message. It gets in and gets out in 90 seconds. I'm not going to say much more. It's fine. I'll take that. Yeah. Yeah, that's a little clunkier. It would go off live. Absolutely would go off live. I think the other thing is I've heard a lot of punk music from trans artists that do this with with both more intensity and more actual verbose flair. Check out Echo Astral if you haven't. They nail this so well. Yeah, this sort of thing will flourish in certain spaces. It works in certain spaces. I can't begrudge it for what it does. I just don't think the song's especially well constructed. That's all. All right. And sample some news audio or just process the vocals. That's just processing the vocals. That's not news audio. The news does not cover trans issues nearly that comprehensively nor that well. All right, so that song is not on my list, so we're going to skip over that. All right, that's a live recording, skipping that. All right, here we go. From Lifeguard. Okay, so we got some punk, dub, power pop, and experimental rock. This is a debut album. The album's called Ripped and Torn, and the song's called It Will Get Worse. You know what? Sometimes it just sets it up for me. Let's go. Ooh. That's an interesting little oily tone they got there. It's got a jangle pop vibe a little bit. I will definitely say that, especially in that guitar tone. Can you tell they're signed to Matador? It certainly feels like they are. It is a good guitar line, but it definitely has like the rougher edge of 2000s post-punk revival to it. Ugh. And here's where the vibe sours a bit. R.I.P. Screaming Females. Oh my god. That makes me sad. At least they went out on a high note. Yeah, I agree with you, Cam. I don't think the melodies are very strong here. Tom, it's interesting you bring that up. I'm going to talk about this in a second. Okay, that was It Will Get Worse by Lifeguard. Their debut album was called Ripped and Torn, and I was not impressed by that at all. I think there's an issue because I heard a lot of this brand of rock in the 2000s. It was indie, there was a scratchy, roughed up quality that it was following in the wake of a lot of acts that wanted to be the Strokes but didn't have the hooks or the momentum or the talents, let's be real. And this kind of has some of that vibe. The vocal pickup that's really rough. I would also say that I wouldn't say the hook is all that special. There's a bit of a jangle pop vibe instead of like going pure post-punk, but that also means that the bass line's not all that well defined. And the vocals just, again, I think the vocals just were not impressive. Like, I feel like that should have hit way harder, but this is a brand of indie rock that didn't exist for very long and it existed, but it never wasn't popular for very long. And it kind of wound up soundtracking a bunch of mediocre sitcoms or sitcoms that was trying to have a better soundtrack. And at least before like it got overly polished, you get the indie pop wave of the soundtracks that happened between the mid 2000s onward. This predates that a little bit, but yeah, not very good. Sorry, just gotta be honest. The equivalent of an overly sour treat. I wouldn't say it's overly sour. That would imply it has more flavor. I didn't get a lot of flavor out of that. Yeah, and that's the interesting thing there. The reason why this is featured in Paste is because these guys are signed to Matador. And that's the reason why that Matador can send out a press packet to Paste, and Paste will write that up as a new up-and-coming band. Whereas, if I'm going to take a look at how many people have bought this, okay, more than I expected, but not that many. Yeah, so the number of supporters on Bandcamp, that's a little dubious there. A little dubious to be given this that much hype. I'm just reading over this here. Yeah, some people are talking about, apparently this does more on live shows, but I don't know, like, I'm not sure this is going to move the needle. Like, it'll get more critic coverage than it probably deserves, at least from my point of view. It will get worse, more like it could be worse, I guess. Yeah, true enough. All right, next up, we got some electronic music. This is from Asta Hiroki and Tristan de Liege, longtime collaborators. The project's called Anamnesis? Anamnesis, I think that's what it's called. The song is called Define Derive. Let's give it a shot. Ooh. That's pretty. I don't like that bad. A little bit of future bass here, especially with that, like the stutters. Won't be considered future bass, but nice bass line though. Interesting choice for the operatic backing vocals, though. Yeah, that warble definitely feels future bass. Not focus. Yeah, come back and focus. There we... Come on, give me a focus. There we go. I don't know about this. This is a little, the synth notes are nice, and the percussion's nice, but it's got some interesting shudders to it, but I feel like it's... When I'm hearing this described as new jazz, I kind of get it. It's really pretty. Like, the choice of the arrangement here is actually really nice. Although I have a very mean comment I'm going to say to the end, though. Yeah, Odo, I kind of get the same thing. Like, it's... I'm appreciating elements, but it's not sticky. I hear that, Jojo. Very fidgety, I will say that. And fidgety, for me, you gotta hit a very certain timbre, and I'm not sure this is. Dropped a lot of frames tonight. Here, it must be a bit unstable. It's certainly pretty. I'm not denying that it's pretty, but I feel like this should stick more than it does. Okay, from the project Anamnesis by Asta Hiroki and Tristan Delage. The song is called Define Derive. Yeah, this is a weird one. I'm not sure how I want to fully describe it. The pattern to it is interesting. I liked the drums. I liked the fluttery future bass-esque synths, or synth horns. Or not really horns, more like the synths just warbling there. I think there's cool elements there. I think the bass line is surprisingly intricate. But at the same time, I kept getting the feeling that I was prepping up for the most tasteful avant-garde video essay that was just going to come up with like these elaborate sets. But the said video essay is not going to say that much that I don't already know. I don't know. Like, it feels like it was a really cool intro. It felt like it was built. It never felt like it built too much. Like, for this sort of, like, even for this sort of brand going into jazz, I feel like it needs to build to a little more. And this didn't quite get there. Like, again, like, I didn't mind the electronic choices. I didn't mind the combination of tones, but I feel like it was lacking a hook. Or I feel like it was lacking that element that would make it really stick for me. Not bad by any means, but it should have been better. I feel like that should have been better. All the component parts were there, but I'm not sure the song was there. All right, let's keep moving. Live set, skipping it. Barker, already talked about it. Let's keep moving. All right, hey, we got more jazz tonight. We're on a bit of a jazz kick right now. This one is from John Armand Jones. The project's called All the Quiet Part 1, and the song we got here is called Kingfisher. It's featuring Ashabir. All right, let's give it a shot.
Where I come from,
Oh, vocal jazz. Nice.
ghetto of the city, where I come from.
Ooh. That's definitely jazz, all right.
Carried beyond confusion since the day I was born.
It has a bit of a dub feel to the lyrical style.
Bible and the gun. More problems than solutions. Where I come from.
Drums are really nice.
So we plan for revolution. Where I come from.
just a little spare. I'm waiting for like the next gear to kick in here. Yeah, a little reggae. I think they describe it as more dub, and I hear that.
In the village where rooted, sounds of horns and drums. These tones of life, the truth is where I come from. We take no imitations where I come from.
Huh.
And there is no limitation, no, where I come from.
Vocals are nice.
Where I come from.
I feel like the foundation of the song is really nice. I'm waiting for more of those background elements to move to the forefront.
Somebody pour some water.
Realtor, I hear that too. I definitely think it's a stylistic choice, though. There's not a lot else going on in the mix. There's a nice bass, but not much else.
Some cooking up in the kitchen. A change gonna come. We plan for revolution. Where I come from. Ghetto of the city. Where I come from.
I feel I should like this more.
Why are children that fight one another in Babylon?
Oh boy.
Where I come from.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we just heard the Sam Cooke reference.
Where I come from.
Which is kind of a shame because I'd rather listen to Sam Cooke than this. Alright, bit of a keyboard solo. Apparently this guy is a keyboardist. He's a good player. I don't love the keyboard tone he chose. I think this song suffers from the benefit of having come down from some really good jazz stuff we heard earlier.
In the village firmly rooted, sounds of horns and drums.
Oh boy.
These tones of life, the truth is where I come from. No limitations where we come from. And we don't
I agree. No, I think I like the other one more than this.
where we come from.
I feel like there's more. This is going on a little too long for me.
Pour some water. Let's sing our own song. We plan for revolution. Where we come from. Hey, don't lie, we multiply. Hey, don't die, we multiply. Don't die, we multiply.
God, I wish I liked this more. Yeah. This could end now? Okay. That was Kingfisher by John Armand Jones from the project All the Quiet Part 1. Yes, there's going to be a Part 2, and yeah, okay. I think we described a lot of the problems in the chat here, and I think the issue I ran into it is that for as jazzy as it just wasn't that impressive. They've described this guy as a jazz icon, and maybe that's true, but at the same time, I'm not hearing what's so iconic or special. Like, the guy's a keyboardist. Like, in order to assemble this, and you barely heard the keyboard. Like, you had a tone that was not the greatest because it felt very soft focus and muted, but that's generally the kind of issue the entire thing with the song. There's texture here in the vocals, and you want to support that texture you have texture in the vocals and the drums, but there's no texture anywhere else. You kind of feels like there needs to be a little bit more weight to it or a little bit more organic flair to it. And honestly, it felt safe. Like, it has the feel of, again, I heard this described in the chat, where it's like it's trying to describe the revolution, but the revolution's not happening. This is not music that soundtracks a revolution. It's fine. It feels a little safe to me. It's not overbearing. It doesn't really bother me per se, but I'm not going to remember it, especially in comparison with the other better jazz I heard throughout the course of this night. I prefer that more electronic new jazz stuff because at least it was interesting. It was doing more than this. And given the runtime of that, going for like 6 minutes, no, not going back to it. All right. Got some hip hop next. Again, that'll be nice. This is from a producer, Flo Fills. He's a jazz beat producer. We're not getting away from jazz just yet. The song we got here is called Peace of Mind, featuring Rail. The album's called Dim Down. Let's give it a shot. This is more hip-hop than we normally get, which I'm not going to complain about. I don't like that background. Let's go. There we go. Ooh, that's tasteful. Definitely jazzy with the piano, but more of a stable groove. Let's hear the rapper. Oh, she's singing. All right, more R&B. Uh-huh, yeah. It's more R&B than hip-hop. I don't know what I was expecting. Vince could kill this, but there's other rappers I go to before Vince. I go with Fonte before Vince on this. Honestly, if J. Cole wanted to do something daring, he could do this. Actually, you know what kills this? Common. Like, you get a rapper who is a little bit more, like, he's got enough earthier flair to the vocal. Like, this is something that Erykah Badu would croon over as well. So you need a rapper who could actually go against it. Tyler with the sample. It's too safe for Tyler these days. Nice little guitar flourish on the end, though. Yeah, this is more R&B than hip-hop. Alright, that's Peace of Mind by Rail from producer Flo Fills from the project Dim Down. It was... yeah, that's it. It's fading out real slow, too. Yeah, it did feel abbreviated. It felt a little. It's tasteful. It's fine. But again, it's a very simple piano loop. Some of the horns were okay. Some of the drums were well produced, and the singing from Rail was good. But I'm not sure it really added too much beyond that. Excuse me. It felt very, again, tasteful, and tasteful's not bad when it comes to jazz. But I don't know. Like we've seen, I wouldn't say it was especially competent. I wouldn't say it was doing anything that was exceptional. It was very, excuse me. Um, this felt very much there, very middle of the road when it comes to that sort of jazz rap production. Not bad, but it didn't wow me. I was kind of hoping for hip hop instead of some R&B that I thought was just kind of okay. Yeah, it was nice, nice. But again, it didn't do much either. It felt very, very smooth and just kind of abbreviated. Yeah, outside of like saying the rest is kind of settled in. I was looking for a hook. The one thing that we tend to encounter a lot with bandwidth is that a lot of these people could afford to write stronger hooks. But okay, we got some synth pop now. It's from Ronnie Martin. The project is called Ever Sing for Joy. The lead-off song is the title track. It's a longer song for synth pop. It's over for 5 minutes. So let's give it a shot. It's a little. Okay. Well, that is a synth choice.
Morning of morning, fates unkind reapers bellow. Songs of these golden harvests manifest like stories of old. Hushed winter burn clusters, leaves walked with willows. Photons like vibrant ribbons, colors bronze, these blackened hollows.
Okay. This is quirky. Wait, no, don't do this. Sammy, it is that Ronnie Martin. Oh boy. I have the lyrics in front of me. This is Christian synth pop. This is Christian synth pop. Oh dear. Yeah, I get it. Yup. Yeah, the production's not good. Oh dear. Oh boy. Okay. What? That is a choice. I feel like all the songs a choice. I don't think I can blame Tooth or Nail for this, because I don't think he's on Tooth and Nail anymore. Yeah, you're not the only one. This is hurting me. This is bad. Like, okay. Yeah. I got thoughts on this in a bit. Thank God we got rap coming after this. We're gonna get away from this soon. It's going way too fucking long. God. A little goofy? Oh my God. Well, can it stop, please? Okay. All right. That was Ever Sing for Joy by Ronnie Martin. It's a single for an upcoming album, and I don't really care to hear about it because that sucked. That was bad. A lot of reasons why it was bad. I feel like, let's start with Ronnie Martin himself. He has no power in his voice. He just sounds very like thin and frail. And I kind of feel like if you're going to have synths that blaring and weird, you need to have a very strong English accent. You need to have a forceful presence in the mix. Like, go full Devo or do something, because this is not it. And it gets worse from there because those synth choices, my God. Here's the thing. I imagine a world where those synth choices can work. Genuinely serious there. I think there's a place where those synths that are a little uncanny and awkward and weird, like if this was pushed into like dubstep warps or something that was trying to be a little bit more intentionally abrasive, I could get on board with that. I could respect it. I'm not sure I'd like it, but I'd respect it. But that's not what this is. This is Christian synth pop. And it's the sort of thing where it's less I'm convinced they have no budget, so much as the budget has been spent badly. Who told them this sounded good? Like, I'm reminded of that. Okay, back in 2020, in the summer of 2020, I reviewed a project from Kevin Max. He was tied to DC Talk. And I got to bring that up because it's terrible. It's a terrible album. It honestly makes me really sad because I think there's other crap going around behind the scenes that album probably should not have been released. But it has so many wrong-headed instrumental decisions that it kind of reminds me of this. And, like, there's an audience, I guess, for this. But it's, like, if you're trying to compare this to what you're doing in synthpop, it's not catchy. It's just ugly. And it doesn't help any of the praise dynamics that you're trying to go with here. It just feels... It goes straight to the uncanny valley and just stays there. And that's not a compliment. All right. Toby Fox can make it work. Maybe. Well, but Toby Fox would know how to juxtapose it with darker elements. Okay, yeah. It sounds like an Undertale, but done wrong. I hated that. Yeah, I kind of hated that too. Let's put some rap on. Okay, we got from Be a Better Friend by Jay Cinema and Chasey. Chasey's the producer. Jay Cinema is the rapper. All right, the song's called Nothing But Time. It's with Muddy Stone. Let's give it a shot. Oh, that's better already.
And every day I'm learning how to live. Fuck what you take, please tell me what you give. I had to learn to treat the hurt like a gift. If it wasn't for Red, I wouldn't know how to swim. What you know about being stuck in the pool of your fears? Had to pull myself together, I'm not trapped by my tears. Still a lot of work to do for my interior. I'm too pretty of a man to feel inferior. It be hard to keep the smile on my face, but I have to, reminding me of all of my battles. Warrior, on the quest for euphoria. I know too many of y'all mad you're not us, it must suck.
This gives me Red Veil vibes.
High as hell, trying to figure where the love was. I fought for all of this, it wasn't luck. If you're not speaking truth, keep your mouth shut. I'm trying to change the world before I turn to dust, and I know I can't. Lazy man, don't let me figure out the power my hands possess. I got to be a better friend, right?
Yeah, second, I agree.
Look what I did with my thoughts and the stress. Came so far, still we can't rest. It's a lot to unpack, but we got nothing but time. We got nothing but time. Look what I did with my thoughts and the stress. Came so far, still we can't rest. It's a lot to unpack, but we got nothing but time. We got nothing but time, right? Can't do shit alone, but I still try. It be hard to function, I be too fried. Solo dolo in the crib, that's my type of vibe. I wonder who's gonna switch when it's shatterized. Gotta look inside and might be myself. Why the hardest thing to do is asking for help?
I hear 6 seconds as well.
I wonder what can ease the pain, peace of mind, or the dollar signs. Never been a person that did shit for fun, but I forget I'm no longer young. Letting these words escape from my tongue. You the type to run and scramble. Let me give you a sample of the shit that I handle. Couldn't drop it all along.
It's definitely a bit of a throwback, I would say that.
In my spirit high, still a work in progress. I'ma get it right, shit fucked up, but I still fight. Hey, I said shit fucked up, but I still fight. Be a better friend. Hey.
Pretty short little song here. That's Nothing But Time with Muddy Stone by J Cinema and Chesse. Okay, let me be fair here. It's pretty basic. We can all acknowledge it's pretty basic. I think the overall sample flip was nice. I think the drums it's well mastered, it's well put together. I think J Cinema he gives me not first rapper vibes. I'm hearing a little bit of amateurishness in terms of how he structures his flow. I think it's less amateur and more dated. It reminds me a lot of like rappers that you'd hear in certain parts of the 80s or maybe even a little bit of the early 90s. Not a bad thing. His flow's okay. His flow isn't bad if you have a fondness for that. I think the struggle here is he wasn't really saying anything that really jumped out at me, which is, I think, the mistake. Like, there's not a lot of detailed lyricism. His vocal timbre kind of reminded me a little of Red Veil, which isn't a bad thing, but Red Veil is just way more propulsive, is going to say more, and will have better hooks. That's fine. Again, I hear amateur, but if you're gonna do it on Bandcamp, that's a place to get your sea legs, and that's not bad for it. I'll take that over some of the other things we've heard tonight. Let me stay there. Yeah, definitely some early 90s. All right, let's keep moving here. Okay. All right, we got a sound artist next. Oh, it's another 6-minute song. I don't know if I want to do this one. Oh, it's ambient music. We haven't had some ambient. Oh, it's ambient techno. Never mind. All right. Okay, so this is from Huma Uktu. The project's called Dracones. The song is called Comfort of the Shadows. I don't know what this is. I'm seeing ambient techno as one of the descriptors. It's a little longer. It's about 6 minutes long. I'm seeing a description like some of this is being. It's from an Istanbul sound artist. I think she's based out of Berlin now. Let's give it a shot. Ambient techno is not my worst nemesis. This is odd. I'm not sure what I feel about this one so far. Like the waves of synth against all the glitch on top. I'm not sure what. I'm just not sure. Kind of just squeaky. Self-producer, yeah, I hear that. It's certainly alien and uncanny. I don't mind that, but like I'm waiting to see where it goes. That is. I'm waiting for the drums to come in if there's going to be drums. Yeah, I'm kind of on board. I just want to hear where it's going. It's like 6 minutes long, so there's a very real possibility this will not go anywhere. Okay, good percussion coming in. Or a beat. Alright, I'm on board. Push the beat. Do something interesting with it, please. One, two, three, four. Oh, didn't do anything. No, don't fade out the drums. Don't fade out the drums. Oh. Again, I don't think it's going to drop. And the drums fade out. For God's sakes. Oh, that's a loud bass. Oh, it's not done. Okay. Oh, we're getting more squealing nonsense. Okay. As if we didn't get enough of that the first time. Yeah, that's several brown notes. I agree with you here, Sammy. I think this is an issue where the textures were decided upon, but the structure was not. This was set up to do well. This was set up to do well. Okay. Ugh. You know what, Cam? I think you're partially right here. Okay, alrighty. That was from Huma Uktu. The album's called Dracones. The song is called Comfort of the Shadows. I don't know why she called it that, because I don't get much comfort from this at all. Here's the thing. I'm not against the tone. I'm not against those clashing, like, brown note synths that are intentionally discordant with a lot of the glitch layered on top. I liked how the drums were starting to come in. It was building momentum, and then they just let the drums fade out. It feels like a song that kind of felt like it may have been too good for a proper drop, and I don't know why, because you could have delivered one. You could have just ramped up the percussion, had like a really solid fill, and then take it off. Then cut off the second half of the song where you basically just reiterated a lot of the same ideas. It feels like, okay, I'm not against the fade out of a drop in principle, but you gotta do something with it. Just don't go back to the same filmy ideas that, I gotta be honest, we were all crying out for something a little stronger. Like, it feels like it could be looped into something, or feel like it could be remixed into something, but this did not do it. Okay, I'm looking at the description because I'm kind of curious what the hell's going on here with this. Cover the shadows moves from within to without. What is once hidden is now exposed. And well, okay, so the idea was conjure the visual and the sonic at the forefront as howling electronics give a distinct impression of movement. Okay, all right. I was hearing movement, and you could argue it was like dragons crawling all over each other, like the whine of little baby dragons, but at the same time, like, you could have done more with it. It feels like it doesn't pay itself off in turn. It's an interesting idea, but there's no, the execution, the progression, the structure of a song like that doesn't get there. Even in ambient, you need a little more. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, second. Sometimes nights go like this. All right, skipping that. Okay, this is from DeFly Hooligan, Low and B. By Gourmet Deluxe. Oh boy, I have no clue what the hell this is going to be, but the song is called Hip Roll. Is called Hip Roll, featuring Nab. I don't even know at this point. Let's give it a shot. Okay, not bad backing vocal here. Now bars. 1, 2, 1. Yeah, the bass line's really nice. The drums sound good too. I thought there was going to be rapping on this. I'm sorry, I paid for rapping here. Although apparently it's like... The description of this is starting to frustrate me because the low and B is supposed to stand for lo-fi and bars. And I'm not hearing the bars. Oh, actually, hang on. Here we go.
Peace, delicious, love to see you often in them comfy clothes. Slide you out the purple road before I take control. Let's relax and listen back to some Gillespie and Thelonious. Pay you various compliments before it's time to readjust. Love how you're attentive to my every move. I'll always play it smooth, just as long as you don't think I'm being rude. Keep you laced up in that Casablanca jersey when it's cold. Got my lady all protected, best believe I'm spitting scrolls. Talking simple facts, very different from these other cats. King of what I do, bless your body slowly from the back. I'm just savoring the flavors while the mutes are spitting cap. Trying to slide up in your DMs, got you screaming all in caps. Touch your body like I'm searching for locations on the map. I don't need a GPS, I know exactly where it's at. I'm just saying I ain't playing, ain't no guessing who's the Mac. Dripping honey on the front.
Oh God. I read the feeling some people should not rap about sex. Oh my god. That was fun. That was funny. Yeah. I agree with you, Dario. The intro took way too long to get to it. It set a vibe, and I'm not sure the payoff was there for the vibe. The groove is nice. I can't deny it. The groove is nice. Second, we can't judge the British from sliding into DMs. They can do that too. Yeah, the verse was bad. I'm sorry. All right, that was Hip Roll from Gourmet Deluxe from the project To Fly Hooligan Low and B. Okay, all right. Listen, I understand the desire to try to do something different in like going for a more stripped back form of R&B, and then more of a rapper who hops in after the vibe is very thoroughly set. The problem with that is you need a rapper who can rap about sex convincingly, and this guy can't. I'm sorry. Like, he just sounded stiff. Now, I don't want to say it's because he's from the UK. That's not the factor. His delivery was stiff. His choice of reference points, like I was on board for like the first third of the verse, and then he just kept going in ways where you can tell he thought he was trying to be clever, and it just made me wince because I'm like, oh, dude, no, this isn't helping. And it left me with the impression like he was trying to meet the mood, and I don't think he was capable. Or I don't think the writing was capable. I even think that flow... No, the flow wasn't capable either. Yeah, I wasn't impressed. Came off way more pathetically thirsty than smooth. Yeah, that's true too. I feel like when you set this much of a melodic foundation, you kind of need to actually have a little bit of smooth groove yourself, and this didn't have that. Kind of a shame because, again, like, the percussion was nice, the crooning was fine. It took a little while to get to him, but, like, it's set up so much, and then the verse just isn't all the way there. We had Doc Brown a few streams ago. He was great. Certainly not a British issue. Yeah, thank you. I agree. Yeah. Yeah, Lo-Fi part. Yeah, the verse was funny. That was a good laugh. I did appreciate that. All right, let's keep moving. All right, so, oh boy, we got more jazz, I think. All right, so we got some Haitian music here. Only 3 minutes long. All right, this is from Claude Saturn. From the album is called Passage, and the song's called Panama. I don't know what this is. It could be interesting. I'm hearing like descriptions of Haitian music, electronic, and jazz. Okay.
En arrive en Kafou Belle, Panama moins tombé. Moi sorti la ville Jacques Mel, la vallée m'a bralé. En arrive en Kafou Belle, m'dit Panama moins tombé.
It's bouncy, I like this.
Moi sorti la ville Jacques Mel, la vallée m'a bralé. En arrive en Kafou Belle, Panama moins tombé. Moi sorti la ville Jacques Mel, la vallée m'a bralé. En arrive en Kafou Belle, m'dit Panama moins tombé.
It's a little short of melody, like especially compared to how good the hook is. A little muted. Percussion's nice though. Ooh. Build. Yeah, the hand percussion is really, really nice here. Yeah, the vocals definitely give it that fuller sound, but like maybe a little bit more.
Mwen sorti la ville Jacmel, la vallée m'a bralé. En arrive m'ka foubelle, Panama mwen tombé. Mwen sorti la ville Jacmel, la vallée m'a bralé. En arrive m'ka foubelle, m'di Panama mwen tombé. Panama tombé, Panama tombé. Panama tombé, ça qui derrière, gardez ça qui derrière. Oh, ça qui derrière. Moi dis ça qui derrière. Oh, ça qui derrière. Moi dis ça qui derrière.
It's nice. It's nice. Okay, that was Panama from Cloud Saturn from the project Presage, or the name of the album is called Presage. That was decent. I guess okay, full disclosure, when I was on vacation, I was in the Caribbean, so I heard a lot of music in and around this while we were down there. It's fine. I guess maybe a little overexposure to me. I feel like the idea of what this is trying to do is pretty interesting. Trying to bring a lot of like Haitian folk music balanced out with modern electronic music and jazz. It's an interesting fusion. I think that they do well, especially with the percussion. I think that blubbery bass line, I think the vocals, especially the choral vocals, really work. I think for me, it's just I wish there was a little bit more tune to it in order to support the mix, but again, I can respect what it's trying to do. It was actually pretty cool. Yeah, not bad. All right. So here's a funny thing. This is from Marlon Williams, and this is okay. I apologize in advance for screwing up the pronunciation. I apologize in advance for screwing up the pronunciation of this. Tiwekawika. Okay, by Marlon Williams. Apparently, Lorde is on this album, of all things. It's very heavily Maori, from what I can tell. But that's not the song that we have to preview, from what I can tell. The song is called Rere Mai Nagaru. Or Rere Mai Nagaro. Let's give it a shot. I'm curious how Lorde of all people would fit on this. A little bit, yeah. Well, New Zealand, yeah, that makes sense. Good groove. I like the production. Drums are nice. The vocal overdubs are pretty well stacked. Yeah, the vibes are good. Folks, we have managed to restore the feeling. Ooh. Those vocal overdubs are nice. Ooh. That's a nice bass line. Ooh. Okay, that was Rere Mai Nagaru by Marlon Williams from the album, again, apologies in advance, Tiwer Tiwekawika. Again, apologies, I do not speak anything close to Maori. That was nice, though. I really liked his voice. I think Williams has this, like, there's a richness to his timbre, and especially when they started piling in the overdubs, that sounded really, really pretty. Yeah, it's more of like you can very clearly tell that it's tied to certain indigenous traditions in New Zealand, and especially with that sort of texture to it. It's very much a folk vibe, especially with the bass line, the more texture percussion. But it was certainly pleasant. I wish the acoustic guitar was a bit louder, but overall, that was very nice. Tough to think, like, I don't know. I'm not sure I would revisit it much. I'm not sure there was something that really leapt off the page at me, but it was certainly likable. Yeah, it was well balanced. I get it has the budget to suggest why Lord might have shown up on this, but yeah, not gonna complain about it. It was good. All right, this next one is from Harry the Nightgown. That's a name. The album's called Ugh. All right, this is setting up a lot. Song's called Bellboy. Okay. We got some avant-garde pop, apparently. Let's give this a shot. Second, I cannot repeat the pronunciation of it. It's just, like, way too difficult. Again, very fidgety. It's very gauzy and twinkly.
Busy like a bee. Do you drag your pollen feet through your home? Waiting for the sun to kill you for a moment, so you can feel good for a moment. Do we let the leaves? Can you stain your rebel cheeks with your tears? Hoping that the sun can dry them for a moment, so you can feel it for a moment.
This is odd. I feel like your weird fidget. Almost a bit of a trip hop vibe to parts of this. It's pleasant. I hear a little bit of Pink Pantheress here as well. I definitely hear that. A little bit of drum and bass. I do like the percussion a lot. I don't know how I feel about the synthesizer, so. Paloma, this ain't popular. Like this is we're talking bandwidth. We're talking bandwidth here. These are Bandcamp acts. Occasionally you get a larger indie name. This is not one of them. Oh. All right, that was Bellboy from Harry the Nightgown from the album Ugh. You know what? That was interesting. I didn't think that was bad at all. I think I like the gauzier vocals. I like some of the effects they had swirling around it. The song certainly felt propulsive, and the trip hop kind of fidgety borderline drum and bass in Parsons' percussion was pretty interesting. I think what kind of lost me was the synth. Like the synths kept jagging and like going in weirder directions. I'm not sure it really built to much. Like I felt like it was kind of I feel like it was careening trying to find a hook and never really landed. Which again, not a bad thing. It was certainly apparently this album is all about embracing failure. That sets up my punchline for me. I don't need to say anymore. But no, seriously, this is good. It was pretty interesting. Yeah, post city pop. That is an interesting comparison. I can kind of hear a little bit of that. But like, no, I would actually no. Like, city pop is a little bit more groovy. That was not that groovy. All right, we only have a few. I think we only have like 3 songs left. Again, fingers crossed we can get through the stream. That'd be kind of wonderful. All right, next up here we have from Swindlers, birdsy folk rock from a twangy Texas group. Good for what ails you. Okay, then we got Swindlers, the Weary Eyes EP, and we got the title track. Let's give it a shot. Okay, about time we got something like this. Oh wow, this does remind me of the Birds. Oh, this is pleasant. It is very haggard. This is very country, though, for sure. Woo! A little bit of vibraphone there. I like that. Oh, this is charming. This is so charming. Oh, the piano sucked the landing. I like it. I like it. Like, it's less country. I think it's got a bit of like a country folk tone to it. Oh, that was really charming. That was Weary Eyes from the Weary Eyes EP by the Swindlers, the project of one J.J. Swin. He's actually Canadian born, he's out of Austin, and that was ridiculously charming. Now, yes, some of this is me. I'm a country fan, duh. But I also think, like, again, it is so homespun. And there was a level of like ingrained organic texture to it that I really, really liked. But you were able to still highlight instruments. It was really well mastered. I feel like it wasn't trying to overstate itself. It was very unassuming, which might be to its detriment ever slightly. But I love the piano. I love the vibraphone that came in on the solo there. That was just really charming. Like, again, it's one of those songs that wasn't trying to do too much, but knew exactly what it had to do and stuck the landing. Also had a hook, which apparently we've been short on tonight. It happens. All right, yeah, a little bit. I hear a little Tom Petty in that, not entirely, but yeah. All right, so let's keep things going here. So then all right, this looks a little interesting. This is from Forest Drive West. We got some dark atmospheric techno. Oh, god damn it. All right, techno. The project's called Masking. And the song, it's going to run for about 6.5 minutes. It's the title track. It's called Masking. Let's give it a shot. Let's get the lights back up. It's a little cooler. Got a little rubbery there, but not bad. We're close to the end here, folks. We are close to the end. Got 2 songs left after this. Given my aversion to techno, I actually like the groove on this. It's actually got some good pulse to it. Ooh, got some. All right. I see what it's doing. I see what you're doing here. It's got like this burbling bounce to it, and it keeps evolving. It keeps pushing itself a little bit further. Part of that is techno. You gotta expect that. Yes, the synthesizer does sound like it's sharding, I understand. I've had to put up with fartier horns than this, though. Ooh. This is doing more than a lot that I was expecting with this brand of techno, which I'm actually quite happy with. Gonna do something with those vocals? That's interesting. Maybe a little bit more operatic touches. These guys German. They feel like they may be German. Yep, German, Munich. Knew it. Nice little gallop. I really like the progression here. Another round of Mark versus... Listen, it's Mark versus techno. That's the difference. I'm not normally a techno fan, but this is working for me, and I'll tell you why in a bit. Because this is entirely a case of dynamics. Listen, Sammy, the song's like 6 minutes long. That will happen. Oh, good ebbing. I like that. That's nice. I'll fade it. Okay. Kind of feels like they got a little bit of like those strings elements just to like ebb up around this. At least at the very end is a good contrast. That was Masking by Forest Drive West. And you know what? Here's the thing. I am speaking as someone who is not a techno fan. I've said this a number of times. And let me explain why. I feel like a lot of techno for me locks into a four on the four groove, and it's very percussion driven, and tunefully it's not doing as much. Now, on some level, this is kind of similar. I don't think the percussion is as sharply defined, but it's there. And oftentimes it has a very regimented groove, but what this does right is dynamics. I'm really impressed with how the synths, they were farty, but they kept evolving, they kept shifting, they kept adding little bits to the patter, to the gallop that actually made it a little bit more interesting. For a techno song to sustain my interest for over 6 minutes, it's doing a lot, especially by the end where it just shifts into this ambient passage, which honestly kind of fits the gothic vibes that it was going for. It's chilly, it's a little minimalist. I will absolutely agree with that. Not sure I'd go back to it, but at the same time, I liked that more than I thought I would. So I'll give it some props. That's pretty good. Only 2 songs left here. And this next one is going to be pretty short. This is from Danzón El Gato El Sonido. The project's called El Sonido Bastardo. Oh, that's going to be fun. It's also only 2 minutes long. It's called, oh God, this, again, my Spanish is bad. I apologize in advance. Una epopeya tranquila. I think it's, Una epopeya tranquila is tranquila. Yeah, that's right there for the first time. All right, anyway, let's give it a shot. Ooh. Neat. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Ooh. All right, this is a vibe. That's nice. I hear a little bit of that funk on it. That is a really nice groove, though, and I love how the guitar phrases come in. It is very 70s how they described it, and I definitely hear that. The Ennio Morricone definitely makes sense here as well. But the other thing, though, is the percussion is very, like, African in that style and that pattern. A little bit more sandy texture to it. And it's pretty short. All right. Oh, God, I gotta pronounce this again. Una epopea tranquila by Danzón El Gato from the project El Sonido Bastardo. That was fun. It's like 2 minutes long. It's not much to it. I like the guitar tone. I really liked how the rollicking kind of borderline funky groove that was going to it. I hear people, they're trying to make a comparison with hip hop. I'm not really hearing that. But there are ideas there that I think are really effective. And yeah, it's got a little bit of a desert rock swing to it. That's pretty fun. Let's end things out. We got an album from the Darkness, people. And I don't know what song we're gonna get from this. But the album is called Dreams on Toast. And it's by the Darkness, so this is probably gonna be utterly ridiculous. Let's hear it.
Next long player. Ooh, it's coming out
He-
soon. I'll be honest. I'm under the moon. We're only doing this 'cause it's fun. Don't even think my mom bought the last one. But I can't help falling in love with rock and roll. I can't help falling in love with rock and roll. So I'm walking through fire.
Okay. This is the way you end a night like this.
Hair and makeup, reluctantly, here we go. Waste another precious day, shooting yet another
Yeah.
shitty video. Nobody's ever gonna see, least of all me. But I can't help falling in love with rock and roll. I can't help falling in love with rock and roll. So I'm walking through fire, living my life on the wire.
Ah.
We never stopped making hit albums. It's just that no one buys them anymore.
Oh, that makes me sad. God damn it. Don't do that.
I can't help falling in love with rock and roll.
Ah. Yeah, the meta-ness is... it's an issue. Oh, that was an abrupt ending. Okay, whatever. That was from The Darkness from the album Dreams on Toast. It reminds me why The Darkness were not super huge. And that's going to be mean, I know, because this is very much. It's being meta about living the life of rock and roll, especially a rock and roll that doesn't chart or do much anymore. And they're aware of it and they're trying to play it as a joke until the point where, like, yeah, it's not quite a joke. You kind of wish that era of rock was still around. And fair enough. I get that. The thing is that if that era was still around, the darkness would not be that big. Like, listen, I love hair metal. I am the kind of guy who likes this brand of over the top, silly rock and roll. The problem is the Darkness were never great at it. Like the guitar solo was fun, but not special. The vocals, I feel like they've gotten a little bit more frail. I wasn't really wowed by this. You need a powerhouse frontman, and this just didn't do it. It felt very easy for this brand of rock. Like, I've heard a lot of this progression and stylism before, and when you're hearing it in 2025, which is like 40 years past its peak, it's just like the Darkness are 20 years past their peak, and I don't know. I feel like I wanted to like it a little more than I did. It was fine. It was a good note to end things off. It was nice little. It put a smile on my face to a point, but at the same time, it kind of reminded me why we left bands like The Darkness behind, and that does kind of leave me on a bummer note because I wish there was more rock like this that had a chance of crossing over, but I wish it was also a little better than this. That's all. So yeah, and the vocals were a little weak. I stand by that. But okay, we got through Bandwidth without being killed. Yay! Once again, thank you all for coming out tonight. I really do appreciate it. It means the world that we're able to keep things on schedule. I will say this in advance. We're not doing Bandwidth next week. I got stuff that's tied like IRL that I can't get to Bandwidth. Just timing's not going to work out. But hey, hopefully the week after that we should be in the clear there. Beyond that, if you guys want to help support the channel, I always like to say like and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. And hey, if you want to actually get involved helping support the channel, get albums on my schedule, feature some of the custom emotes that are in the chat here, or hell, just want to yell at me more directly on my Discord just beyond this chat, YouTube memberships and Patreon are the option. Once again, do not feel obligated. It's tough times out there, especially with the markets. I understand that can be really scary. I can't promise that any of the vibes here are going to make that better, but if it's a little bit of escapism, that matters. But hey, once again, thank you all so much for watching. I'm Mark. You're watching Bandwidth on Spectrum Pulse.